This is Modern Persian Food,
a culinary podcast for today's food enthusiast.
We talk about classic Persian flavors,
modern recipes,
and embracing culture and identity through food.
I'm Bita.
And I'm also Bita.
Welcome to our show. Welcome to episode 95, the last in our summer fan favorite rebeats. Today we're talking about Anar, Persian pomegranate. My personal takeaway on this episode was some modern takes on it. I love the underwater method of opening pomegranate. I hope you do too. There's so many good tidbits in this episode. We can't wait for you to listen to it.
Yeah, I love this episode too. I really love how we kind of incorporated some cultural elements about how Anar fits into Persian culture. And I also love that some of the memories of my father that I share, and also some of the really great recipes that we come up with in some of our modern takes. They're super delicious. So hope everyone likes it as much as we do. And without further ado, here we go.
آی انار انار بیا ببالینم شبنم گل نار بیا ببالینم آی انار انار بیا ببالینم شبنم.
Today we are going to be talking about a bright, beautiful, exotic Persian fruit, the pomegranate. Pomegranate is a lovely fruit that has gem-like arrows inside of it that are used in different Persian dishes and also just eaten raw and fresh and delicious. And I am here with Fesenjoon. Hi, Fesenjoon. What can you tell us about pomegranates?
Well, they're the national fruit in Iran. It's a huge part of the culture in the foods, also just in literature, art. It's prevalent in many ways. It's beautiful and very Persian.
Yeah.
We have a special technique for opening pomegranates.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what they look like, they are, round with this interesting stem on the top. And I think old school way of opening a pomegranate requires a lot of patience. What the fruit is it's basically tiny little seeds with the fruit around the seed. It's bursting with flavor and you can eat the seeds. The whole fruit is really nutritious. Once you've peeled them and removed the arils, you can eat them fresh and whole, filled with antioxidants and healthy fiber. My husband actually really prefers to sit there and pick them out. It's like therapeutic and relaxing to him. And our girls have grown to love kind of waiting for their little share of the fresh fruit. But over the years, I've discovered a way to open it with the underwater method. It's so fast and easy. And because I love them so much, when they're in season, I will open one like every day. You basically just submerge it in water, slice off the top and slice down the sides, and you submerge it underwater. It's a really easy way of grabbing the seeds out of that and then being able to use it in all sorts of foods. Do you enjoy fresh pomegranate?
Yeah, I love fresh pomegranate. That's really sweet that your daughters will wait for their dad to open up the pomegranate. I have actually similar feelings. My dad would actually sit and do like 6, 7 pomegranates all at once. And so have a big fat bowl of it. And then you divide it amongst like whoever's there. And it's really special. I have really fond memories of my dad sitting there and seeding the pomegranate. It's round. It's beautiful. It has a hard, leathery exterior, and you usually need like a knife or something to pierce through that and to be able to like kind of pull it and break it apart. I think your technique of doing it underwater is super convenient, and it's actually much cleaner than the more traditional way, which I actually still do more the traditional way, is do it in the sink just to kind of cut down on the mess. But I'll like score it and break it open into like 4 or 5 different segments, and then individually break off each of the little aril seeds into a bowl. Wearing an apron is a good idea, having paper towels and things like that there to kind of absorb any splatter. But yeah, the color is this bright ruby red. Sometimes they get kind of darker, like almost purple-like in color, or like more pale sometimes too. But I feel the darker they are, the more sweet that they are. And I love just having like a bowl of fresh pomegranate. I like to put salt on it. Some people put ground angelica seeds on it. So golpar for like a little bit of added specialness to it. I love throwing them on salads. If I'm doing like a salad, I love the little like burst of flavor. And in some foods, you can use it as a garnish. We talked about Fessenjoon before many times, and we have actually an episode dedicated to Fessenjoon. But some people like to garnish the top of their Fessenjoon with the fresh pomegranate arils. And it's not super authentic, but I think it looks really beautiful. And it does add a little pop of flavor as you're eating this really delicious, beautiful stew of ground walnuts and usually pomegranate molasses or paste, and sometimes pomegranate juice cooked into that.
In Iran, they harvest many different varieties of pomegranates. And even in the US now, I know my neighbor grows them, my mother-in-law grows them. And if you've ever gotten to be fortunate enough to be gifted a fresh pomegranate from a tree, if you wait until they're almost bursting, like you said, they have the segments. If they're like almost bursting, that's when they are so ripe and ready to eat. And then opening them and removing the arrows becomes that much easier. They almost fall out and they're extra sweet and delicious.
Oh, good point.
They also look beautiful on top of jeweled rice.
Oh, yes.
Shirin polo, also known as jeweled rice. And that is the beautiful rice that has sometimes slivered carrots and beautiful dried fruit and
orange peel
and the fabulous color and flavor of pomegranate. Also fresh, looks beautiful on top, and the taste of it is tartly sweet and interesting, and it may not be traditional to put it, but definitely adds a beautiful presentation and a nice kind of pop of tartly sweet flavor.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So I know that dish, sometimes people add zedeshk to it, like the barberries. And I think that would actually be a great substitute for zedeshk if you want to kind of like flavor your rice or your dish with it. That's a great idea to do.
You can buy pomegranate, at least in this area, already de-seeded in a container in the grocery stores. Just know that the shelf life is very short. It needs to be consumed quickly. Once it's peeled, it does tend to go bad quickly.
Yep.
When I have it, I'll put it in everything. I'll put it in my cereal bowl or my oatmeal bowl and yogurt.
Yeah, it's super delicious.
Do you use pomegranate molasses or pomegranate paste?
So pomegranate molasses is a little sweeter, and the pomegranate paste can have more of like a sour taste to it. The pomegranate paste I've really only seen in Persian markets, but the pomegranate molasses I've seen in different grocery stores as well. You know, we've talked about different appetizers or some easy recipes is actually using the pomegranate molasses on top of chicken wings. It gives a super unique flavor. And also just like on store-bought meatballs, you can add it for a fun little appetizer. You can just add the pomegranate syrup to it, and you can garnish it with like some pistachios or some parsley. And that's a fun Persian-inspired appetizer. So it's actually quite versatile. I also like drizzle it over some my morning like yogurt and fruit.
Those are really clever ways to use it. I know that the very classic use for pomegranate molasses and syrup in Persian cuisine is in Fessenjoon, and that is the stew which is made with walnuts and pomegranate molasses or syrup and either chicken or meatballs. So I love your modern, interesting versions of making appetizers and chicken wings and meatballs. And I've actually made the inspired pomegranate meatballs based on your idea. And so I love that. But Fessenjoon is one of my favorite Persian stews. I have a modern recipe that I make in the Instant Pot. My grandma used to make it, and I know Bob's grandma used to make it. And it's just one of those things that when it's served, I'm so excited. I love the tartly sweet flavor. It's so rich and comforting. Do you have any old school Persian recipes that you use pomegranate in?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main one is really Fesenjoon that I use it for. I know that there are some northern Iranian dishes that utilize pomegranate as well. We had Omid at the Caspian chef on our show before, and he talked about pomegranates in a number of dishes. So it kind of ranges from what region you're from, different foods that you can put Anar in, and Anar is actually pomegranate in Farsi. There's actually another dish that I haven't made personally, but I really want to make it. I've had it a few times and it's super delicious, is Ashe Anar, which is an Anar hearty soup. And that is actually made with the pomegranates and pomegranate juice, and also split peas are in there and a bunch of fresh herbs. And traditionally they're made with the tiny little meatballs. Make sure that those are properly seasoned so that there's like a great burst of flavor in the soup. And that's another type of way that you can use Anar in your cooking.
That's true. I haven't made it that osh either, but I have tasted it. It is delicious. This beautiful, sacred, blessed fruit is actually great for holidays. I use it as decor. I think it's beautiful and unique, and I'll put it on a natural table setting in, American Thanksgiving and over winter holidays. And let's not forget its important role in the longest, darkest night in the Persian holiday.
You're referring to Shab Yalda.
Yes, Shab Yalda. We talk about that in a previous episode. So can you tell us more about how pomegranate plays a role in that night?
Yeah, so it's a winter fruit, and the Shab Yalda, you have a little setting that has some of the fruits of winter time, and pomegranates are definitely featured there. We also talk about pomegranates on the Sofre Mehregan. A few episodes ago, we talked about Mehregan, and the pomegranate is featured there too. So really in the autumn and beginning of winter time, where this great, beautiful gem-like fruit is fully ripened, is where it's featured on some of these ceremonial place settings.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody. We wanted you guys to all know about beautiful, delicious pomegranates and how we use that in Persian cooking.
آی انار انار بیا به بالینم شبنم گل نار بیا به بالینم آی انار انار بیا به بالینم شبنم
Well, we sure hope you enjoyed that episode all about Anar, pomegranate. We can't wait to hear in what ways you're going to be sprinkling the fresh pomegranate arrows and using Anar in your recipes.
Keep us posted on what you end up doing. We hope you've enjoyed this little mini series that we've had with our fan favorite episodes. And we look forward to having new and fun conversations starting in the fall. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye. You've been listening to the Modern Persian Food Podcast with Bita and Bita. Thanks for spending time with us. If you've enjoyed what you heard today, consider telling a friend or giving us a good rating. You can subscribe to our show for free on your favorite podcasting app or find us online at modernpersianfood.com or on Instagram for the recipes and information we talked about today. We'd love to hear your thoughts and see you next time.